Welcome back to the second episode of our still unnamed podcast. Certainly not taken seconds after stopping the first one, suddenly. But the podcast that we started last year, we are now picking up in 2016, fresh start now. So
We're about as fresh a start to this new podcast, this new episode, as the new year, literally.
it definitely wasn't taken a minute after midnight.
The clock struck midnight into the new year.
Yeah, so we're going to enough looking in the past, you know. None of that.
I mean, yeah,
like,
Star Wars was so 3 weeks ago, 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
that
Star
was
Wars
like
was so 2015.
Yeah.
it's like
Very
what,
real.
December 18th? It's 2016 now. Let's move forward with movies now.
It's
you think?
all about. Well, how would the dude say it? Hey, man, it's about the now. It's not about the future or the past. It's about the now.
It's a very complicated situation. Lots of ins, lots of outs.
A lot of how do yous. How would the dude say it? I think that is how the dude would say it.
Truly. So anyway, speaking of movies that did not come out in the 90s, because New Year, we thought we'd talk about some 2016 movies.
You mean you don't want to talk about Point Break and the Free Spirit, man?
Okay, so working in the theater, which is what I do, I had to clean out a theater. I spent most of tonight cleaning out theaters, which after Star Wars, you think people were buying food just to throw it on the ground. So cleaning up some theaters were a nightmare. When I had to clean up after the screening of Point Break, that theater was spotless. It was
wonder why.
pristine.
I wonder
It's
why
like-
people don't want to see the Point Break remake that was totally unnecessary, because the real movie from the early 90s is nothing but an absolute classic.
I just think it's so funny. I didn't like.
Oh,
I
why did they
haven't
have to
even
remake
seen
it?
any advertising for Point
Oh,
Break
I've seen
at all.
I've seen the
It's like-
advertising for it, and while on the surface, and now, as we've all been duped by trailers before, the stunt work in the film certainly looked pretty fantastic. But from what I heard, that the character of Johnny Utah, who was Keanu Reeves' character in the original
They've
movie,
updated him now. He's now Johnny Nevada.
he's not Johnny Nevada. Apparently, he's not Johnny Utah, but he goes by the nickname Utah, and he doesn't like to be called it or something to that effect.
And why does
Okay.
he go by the nickname if he doesn't want to be called it?
Exactly, James. But to really just put this into perspective, I have no desire to see this movie at all, and I don't think people should ever go and see this movie, because why do you want to go and fund stupid remakes like this?
I saw the credits.
And I think my pal Ian here saying that nobody was in that theater to see this shitty movie says everything that you need to know about it. Don't go see Point Break. I'm sorry that I had to. Of course, we're going back to the past, and I didn't want to go back to the past. But he was bringing up movies from the '90s, and I know Point Break is from the '90s, and they just remade it. And it's in theaters now, so I wanted to bring it up.
Okay, good.
All right.
God, what kind of movie reviewer are you? You're bashing a movie before you've even seen it?
You haven't brought up one conspiracy theory about how Point Break is trying to promote radical feminism, take away gun products, whatever else they said on Alex Jones.
Destroying culture, trying to get rid of humans.
Yeah.
Oh,
Planned Parenthood, buzzword.
Hashtag Benghazi.
The-
Hashtag
the-
false
The
flag.
original Point Break was all about the inner spirit. It was they were just robbing the banks to fund their endless
Individuality.
summers. Individuality, not
And this remake is all about consumerism
It is all
and
about the money.
corporate greed.
And for the listeners out there that might have seen the Total Recall remake, I don't know how you people felt about that, but this is the same writer that did that piece of shit. So if that's any indicator of whether or not you should see this movie, just look at the Total Recall remake that cost $200 million, and they somehow managed to take a movie with Kate Beckinsale and oh my god, what's her name? Jessica Biel, and not make it like they take maybe two of the hottest women in Hollywood and turn it into like nothing with whatever the other
Also
guy.
great actors, both of them.
Yeah. Yes. I didn't. This
They're
movie...
more than just a pretty face, Evan. Check your privilege.
Yes, Kate Beckinsale. Watch Vacancy. Pretty decent horror movie. She's in that. And Jessica Biel was in the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
She was good in that. Arlie Ermy was all right in that.
I guess.
Everything else about that movie. So yeah, 2016 looks like it's going to be great.
Back to 2016 now.
So, of course, we're all looking forward to Gods of Egypt, one of the hyped movies.
Oh, I'm really glad you brought that up.
From the acclaimed director of Dark City and The Crow. Again, it is so depressing that Dark City's amazing, The Crow's awesome. iRobot is very dumb, but has some very enjoyable...
Frankenstein?
Is this the same person that made I, Frankenstein?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my god.
Pretty sure the guy who made...
gave Evan a heart attack.
Oh my god, I'm like, are you kidding me? Because the movie already looks pretty bad as it is, and now they're talking...
Pretty sure the guy who made I, Frankenstein doesn't have a career anymore. Shot in the dark. Whereas Alex Proyas, if that is how you pronounce his name, he's actually made good movies at points before making Gods of Egypt. Haven't seen it yet. Don't know 100%. Maybe it'll come out. It'll be the next classic.
He also made Knowing.
The guy that did Gods of Egypt made Knowing?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That was actually his last movie.
Again. Okay.
That is quite a trajectory you have, going from Dark City, The Crow, iRobot, Knowing.
You managed to take... Okay. We'll get into... I think we could probably do a whole episode on Nicolas Cage, but, like, he took Nicolas Cage and...
That's a very novel idea. I don't think anyone on the internet has discussed Nicolas Cage.
But I'll just leave it out there that... Oh my god, Knowing. It was boring. You took Nick Cage, and if you're not going to make him an over-the-top character... Like, the only time I liked him in a role that it wasn't over-the-top character was Adaptation. And
I still need to see that.
And even Wild at Heart, he was pretty over the top. But like,
oh my god! Speaking of, sorry to interrupt,
but
go ahead. Speaking of Nicolas Cage and Adaptation, Charlie Kaufman movie, movie that's hopefully, I mean, technically it's a 2015 release, but hasn't been to any theater nearby.
All right, so we'll call it 2016 then. Why
okay,
not?
yeah. So when it comes to a local theater, Anomalisa, I am so looking forward to that.
What was it called again?
Anomalisa. It's by Charlie Kaufman, the guy who made Adaptation and Being John Malkovich. Being John Malkovich is such a fantastic movie. Again, to bring up movies from the 90s again. But yeah, it's like this weird. It looks like a weird like stop motion animation movie, which. I love stop-motion movies, so I'm really, really looking forward to a stop-motion movie by Charlie Kaufman.
I mean, James, to go back to your original term, quirky, Charlie Kaufman I might put into that category.
I don't remember when I used that word, but...
It was probably when we were talking about Edgar Wright before we recorded stuff.
Off the air, we were talking about Edgar Wright and how...
And Wes Anderson.
And Wes Anderson is the poster child for quirky, but, you know, in the best way possible, though. Again, we'll do Wes Anderson another time. Because I don't know if does he have any movies coming out in 2016?
I don't think so. Oh, wait. I remember hearing about some project he was working on, like...
Anderson?
I think it was supposed to be... I don't know if it's going to turn into anything, but I heard him, like, speculating that he wants to make, like, an animated movies about dogs or something like that. Which, if you know Wes Anderson's history with dogs or animals in general in movies, it's probably not going to end well for them. It's probably going to be more like Plague Dogs than
his newest release is entitled Untitled Wes Anderson Project.
A very specific...
it's something that he's directing, though, right? Not just writing?
Directing.
Okay, it's just when's it coming out?
This sounds very much like an either in pre-production or still in production thing.
I clicked on it. A stop-motion film about dogs.
Okay, there you go.
With Bill Murray, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Jeff Goldblum, and Bob Balaban.
Wait.
Oh my God,
Wait,
wait.
you're telling me a Wes Anderson movie he's casting Bill Murray? That's really outside the box casting for Wes
Okay.
Anderson.
To the future devoted listeners to this untitled podcast, Bill Murray's my favorite comedic actor of all time, and
Wait, you love Bill Murray? Again, this is such a novel position
I-
to take.
There's
fucking
no,
love
Tilda
Bill
Swinton
Murray.
announced yet, though.
okay,
Okay, no Tilda Swinton, I'm not interested yet.
we may still get a Tilda Swinton announcement, but
Jeff Goldblum has said it will be Japanese influence.
Ooh,
Oh, so it's going to be like an anime.
oh, fantastic! This is just gonna get better and better. But the fact that
So I'm sure it's going to be like Attack on Titan or Gundam. Is the first half hour going to be a stop motion dog charging up an attack going, oh!
and beyond the greatness that is Wes Anderson's totally symmetrical films is the fact that he like single-handedly resurrected the great Bill Murray's career and put it onto a path that's beyond his slapstick comedy that he was known for in the 80s and the 90s.
His character in Rushmore is such a sad character.
It
And
really
Bill
is.
Murray sells that so well. Like
Yeah,
it really is a fantastic performance.
out of
in it.
nowhere, it's like it's the two defining characteristics of his career are it's like the Ghostbusters, the Stripes, and the What About Bob years, and then you have the Wes Anderson and Lost in Translation years. It's like it's right there, and then his unforgettable cameo in Zombieland, one of the best cameos ever.
That's a great cameo.
Well, I'm not gonna say one of the best cameos ever. That might be a little extreme.
It's
but
a memorable. It's a very memorable cameo.
Very, very memorable cameo. And the fact that Jeff Goldblum's going to be in it too, like, if you don't like Jeff Goldblum, I don't know why we're talking to you. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
No, why would I like Jeff
Gold-
Goldblum?
yeah. What a perfect segue into the first movie we could talk
Oh.
about for 2016.
Oh.
You know where this is going.
Mm.
You know where this is going.
Yeah, Independence Day, reemergence,
Whatever the
surgeons,
freaking subtitle.
generic
of that movie is.
generic colon
Oh.
subtitle for the movie.
Oh.
Independence Day 2. This time it's really serious.
Okay, I was sitting and watching that trailer, and again, I loved the part because Jeff Goldblum was on. It was in it predominantly, and it was very good, and I liked that about it. But when they started to try to recreate the president's speech from the original film for this one, that they got to fight again, and now it's not going to become an Independence Day. It's not going to become an American holiday and whatnot. I'm like, okay, you lost me because you're no way you're ever going to be able to recreate the genius that Bill Pullman pulled off in the original Independence Day. It's like the most.
I'm pretty sure that was Bill Paxton.
I'm sorry, Bill Paxton.
No, it was probably Bill Pullman.
I think it was Bill Pullman, Ian.
Oh.
Okay,
I still can't remember which is which sometimes.
It's Bill P. We'll call him Bill P. because they both have their last names begin with P.
William P.
William P. Oh my God, they're gonna.
Yeah, but anyway, with that speech, it's super intense because it cuts it off before you can hear the title. That's how you know this is going to be a really intense movie.
Oh my God. Yeah. And like
Yeah, that really fits into the trend that started like in the past few years and is going to continue very strongly into next year's is a sequel to a movie that started like 10, 15, 20 years ago. Well past the point that anyone should care
Yep.
about it. Like Zoolander 2 is coming out.
Oh, yep. Something that, again, I mean, Ben Stiller's directing it. He's bringing back Owen Wilson. I guess Christine Taylor's going to be in again, too.
Again, I can't help but feel like that the original Zoolander was like a lightning in a bottle. Like, you're not going to be able to recreate that.
Yeah. I
Like,
totally
even
agree.
just the sequence with Will Ferrell trying to brainwash Ben Stiller, that's like avant-garde cinema right there. Seriously.
Yeah.
And it's like, at this point, it's like, who cares anymore?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is a fair way to look at it, but it's like when the movie. Don't get me wrong, Zoolander's great, but the fact that it's sitting like if you go to your local Walmart or Target in a $3 bin when they're practically just trying to give the movie away at this point,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like-
people they either already own the movie because it's been out forever, or they're just trying to unload it because it's just something that the time for the movie is come and gone.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, it was a huge. It was like I don't know if it was like necessarily a huge hit, but
Yeah.
like definitely had a very strong following.
yeah.
At the
Oh
time.
yeah.
It's like, but that's what I mean. It was like, it had that. I don't want to say it was a flash in the pan, but it was like really that lightning in a bottle moment where it's like,
Flash in the pan, lightning in a bottle.
well, I think lightning in a
lot of
bottle.
phrases.
It just that sounds more friendly than flash in the pan, which just makes it sound like it was a fad and then no one cared about it.
It did have a cult following for a while.
No,
people,
yeah,
people
it's
liked
like,
it.
If you watch it today, it's still like a really funny, really unconventional
Yeah.
little movie. But it's like this seems to be the case where if you try to bring back a lot of the original people to do it again, it's like yeah, we'll get all the original people together and it'll totally be the same like
Yeah.
get in on that zeitgeist that the original
Yeah.
the way the original had. But that just doesn't seem to work out a whole lot.
See, like,
And
I definitely agree with it, and I just, again, I'm gonna go back to the past once, but it fits my argument, so I just want to say it again. It was just, again, we're gonna take a movie from the '90s, the original Dumb and Dumber, and we're gonna compare it to the sequel
Oh
that
my
came.
God.
The sequel, not the Dumb and Dumber like the prequel thing. We're talking about the one that came out. Was it last year or 2014 or
I think it
2015?
was last year.
I think it was 20. Is it 15 or 14?
I feel like it was 2014, but I'm not entirely
It could have been
sure.
the end of 2014, beginning of 2015, something around those lines. But it's like, all right, so we know that the original is amazing for its slapstick comedy, and it's just like these situations that these two characters get in, like Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels.
It is lowbrow humor at its finest.
They have amazing chemistry together, and it just works really well together. And I mean, like the scene at the restaurant where they like give the guy the heart attack because they put the hot sauce in his burger, or they.
My favorite moment will always be them selling the headless
And-
bird to the blind.
Yeah,
kid.
it's like classic scenes that you remember, and it's like, okay, so now we're gonna make the sequel 15 years later. When originally they said they had no interest in making the sequel in the first place, and we're gonna try to recreate those classic scenes by just. We're going to get the people in the seats, and we're somehow going to be able to recreate the magic just because we got Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels back, and we're going to throw in the most annoying character I've seen, like, up until that point. I've probably seen more annoying characters since then, but the character that Jim Carrey's trying to lust after the whole movie, that's Jeff Daniels' supposed daughter throughout the whole movie, is annoying the entire effing movie. The airhead, like, and of course they had to make her blonde, so they didn't, a brunette, so they didn't do the dumb blonde trope. But she every time she was on screen, she was practically insufferable, and I don't remember any of the jokes or the gags from that movie because all they really tried to do was to just get Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels back in it, so you can go and see these guys do adventures together.
It's probably like along the Judd Apatow like method of filming movies. It's like, yeah, we get these likable comedy people together, have them improvise all their scenes, and we can probably edit this into something that people will like.
Yeah.
I haven't, unlike Evan, I haven't actually seen the movie, which I feel like probably a lot of people haven't, but so yeah, I'll defer to you on that one. But I just gotta say, like, even the idea of like Jim Carrey like lusting after his best friend's daughter, that's like a weirdly creepy sort of thing like that. Probably shouldn't be in a comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like unless you're doing like a Todd Solondz like a Happiness, Welcome to the Dollhouse type comedy, you probably shouldn't have something that like uncomfortable.
It's pretty uncomfortable, and like the original film, it's like when you actually sit and think about it, if you want to call it a plot, because I guess it is technically a plot, the Jim Carrey's character Lloyd Christmas is trying to go to Aspen, Colorado to bring a suitcase back for a woman that he instantly falls in love with while he drives her to the airport.
It's like
that's funny. Like that's good.
Even more than that, like that's kind of sweet in a way.
Yeah,
like it speaks to how good natured like that character is. It's like this girl he has a crush on. He's the kind of person who'll drive all the
Oh,
way to
drive
Aspen just to
Yeah.
return her briefcase. That's really
Really-
sweet in a really dumb way.
It's like we're drawn to that storyline and all the wacky antics that they get into along the way on that trip from Providence, Rhode Island to Aspen, Colorado, and it's like it works. It's
Yeah.
successful, and on top
We're-
of that, they decided to take for the sequel pretty much the same exact plot, except instead of returning the suitcase to the woman, they're just going on the quest to find the daughter.
yeah.
It's the same road trip style movie. It's practically the same thing, which is, I guess you can do another audio video for another day about remakes that just take the same exact plot or sequels that take the same exact plot.
It's a reboot Quill.
And that's what I feel like the Independence Day remake. I always say remake because I guess this is the day where everything's a remake, but the sequel just feels like the exact same movie again. Am I wrong?
It's like, what's it? This film critic, Devin Faraci, actually wrote an article just today about that. Well, technically last year as of right now, but
Yeah. Yes, it's now 2016, folks.
about how like 2016 was like the year of the reboot, or not 2016, 2015 was like the year of the reboot sequel, the reboot Quill, I guess you'd
Yeah.
call it, because you've got like movies like Terminator,
Genesis thingy.
Jurassic World, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Creed, where it's like
Yeah.
these are movies that
They're based on pre-existing
they're
material.
technically in continuity with
Yes.
the old ones, so they're technically sequels, but they follow
Yeah.
the original plot so close of their property so closely that they're technically reboots at the same time for that audience.
Yep.
And of course, some movies. And what was interesting about the point he was making was that like there's like sort of a spectrum of it where it's like Terminator Genesis, which I haven't seen it,
Neither
so
have I.
again, this is just all off assumption from the trailers, where it looks like it's nothing but recreating it to vastly diminishing returns
Yep.
on the thrills of the original Terminator movies. It ranges from that, which is like bottom of the barrel stuff, to Mad Max Fury
Fury Road.
Road,
Oh my
which
God.
is a goddamn miracle.
Miracle.
Honestly, is a miracle that a movie like that could be made.
God bless George Miller and what he did with that. God, oh man.
It's honestly, it's like incredible that a movie like that got made. That movie had $100 million budget
Yep.
to make all these insane stunts and practical designs.
Yep.
Not to mention, I think it has some of the best like visual details, world building since like the original Star Wars. Honestly,
and flame throwing guitars.
exactly. It's like,
Flame throwing guitars, people.
that is like one of the. That's like a Boba Fett character, this immediately iconic character who doesn't do a whole lot, but is so
Oh my
amazing that it really doesn't matter.
Every time he's on screen, you just notice him. But like that's when it's done right. I mean, you brought back the original director for that. You brought back, see, I had no problem. Like, and I have no problem admitting that when Mad Max Fury Road was announced, it came out in May. When was it like, or when did I first see when did the trailers first come out? Maybe in like March, maybe February.
Earlier, probably.
Probably
'Cause
earlier.
It was playing at like I think the very first trailer was playing at like the Comic-Con like the year of the previous year, so maybe even like a year
Because
before.
I had never seen a Mad Max film up until that point. So when I started hearing the buzz that Tom Hardy was cast as Max and Mel Gibson was played the role in the 3 previous films, wasn't going to be in it, I didn't really have much of a reaction to it. But we all love Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's a great actor, and Charlize Theron is. I mean, if you want to watch Monster, it is one of the greatest performances I have ever seen. I think from actor or actress in a film ever. Totally deserved the Oscar.
I've never felt so bad for a serial killer as watching Monster.
It was like you weren't even watching an actress in that movie. You were watching she totally transformed herself.
But I just want to say that beyond how great Charlize Theron is as an actress,
Yes.
I think most people can see that at this point.
Yeah.
Her character Furiosa is one of my favorite characters in years. One of my favorite performances in years, maybe like this immediately iconic character.
And not
Uh,
even just like your favorite female character, like just an amazing character.
No, she's an incredible character in general.
Yeah.
Well, like, what's it? There's even like this is something someone had to point out to me. Like the scene early on where her and where she's fighting Tom Hardy, and I can't remember his name, but the guy playing the war boy, while they're chained together in like hand-to-hand combat. She's holding her own for a lot of the fight, and you totally forget that she's like a female, or that she only has one arm, and she's totally holding her own. It's like you totally don't look at that and go, bullshit. It's no, you totally believe she can hold her own. She's able to get across so much with just a look in her eyes. It's, oh my god, it's like, it speaks to just how great she is, how great George Miller is as a writer of characters.
Yep.
Even with the limited dialogue in that movie, he's such a great, like, writer of characters through action. Like, you can just see how Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron's characters, how their relationship evolves just through how much they trust each other with guns in that movie. Starting with Tom Hardy, like, taking all her guns away to the point where Charlize Theron is using his shoulder as a stand. It's so great.
I mean, only a performance and an actress that fantastic can take a remember, it is still a Mad Max movie, and Tom Hardy's Max is supposed to be the main character, and for probably about half the movie, his face is covered with no dialogue, and she actually takes the movie away from the title character that is Mad Max.
Oh, it's like, even though it's it's like, see, this totally fits into the Mad Max tradition of, it may be like Mad Max might be technically the main character, but it's totally Furiosa's
it's her movie.
Story.
It's her story, and it's her movie.
It's the same thing with, it's the same sort of style as The Road Warrior, whereas,
which I did go back and watch the first two movies in the trilogy and loved both of them and went out and bought them immediately when I did hear about this Fury Road coming out. So I was caught up to speed on it. Trust me, people.
Oh, see, I had seen Road Warrior just because it would play on AMC occasionally.
See, I don't like to watch a movie for the first time on AMC or anything like that because it edits stuff and it's on commercials, and that would bother me.
True, but it's like at that point I was in high school and also an idiot, so
we were all idiots in high school.
I didn't think about that a whole lot, but it's just, even with that movie, even with the edits, I was like totally sucked into this world that he made.
Amazing.
Like, oh my god, the character of the Humongous. It's
my god! And was it the original Mad Max or Road Warrior that he played one of the villains in too, or was he? No, maybe not one of the villains, but he was a character in either Mad Max or the Road Warrior. That actor who played Lord Humongous or whatever his name was.
I don't know. I know there was a character who was a villain in the first Mad Max, the Toe Cutter, who played Immortan Joe in Fury Road.
Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of that.
I'm honestly not sure who plays the villain in the Road Warrior.
I'm thinking of I was confused. You were right. There was that Toe Cutter who then played, whatever. What was his name in Fury Road?
Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe. It was him that came back for Immortan Joe. Okay, yes, that's true. Wow, that's, oh my god. Getting all excited about Mad Max Fury Road. But like,
again, our 2016 episode is going great right now.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be hard to talk, like, and when we all know that 2016 is gonna be, it's the Batman v Superman year, it's the Deadpool year, it's gonna be just, and then it's gonna be Rogue. See,
Deadpool is a movie I'm so conflicted as to how I feel about it, because on one hand, it's like,
it's a rated R comic book movie, which intrigues me maybe more than anything. And I'm not talking.
Again, I'm not a huge comic book reader, but
neither am I. That's the thing.
But from what I hear, like the comic books are very much like very violent, very humorous too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it shows that way from the trailers.
Oh yeah, the trailers definitely sell that tone. And from what I've heard, this was like a passion project, sort of, for Ryan Reynolds. Like, he really wanted to make a faithful Deadpool adaptation, as opposed to
and I am not a big fan of him at all.
X-Men Origins Wolverine, which
they got to stop with the X-Men. Please, no more X-Men movies.
X-Men Apocalypse coming.
I know.
I think next year,
and then it will continue the trend of more sequels based on the comic. Well, I get it's a 2016 movie.
Comic book-
2016 movie.
Comic book movies aren't going away anytime soon.
They're
dude.
not going away anytime soon.
Not with the Marvel Cinematic Universe going strong. DC's trying to do it in a really interesting, possibly horribly misguided way. But anyway, with Deadpool, like, okay, so like, yeah, it captures that tone, at least from the trailers, and it's like, this is something I was weirded out by and didn't realize is that it's pretty, like, the comic books on their own are really popular. Like, there's a big audience for that trailer. Like, I mean, just for that,
That character.
that character,
yeah.
like, because
that's probably more up your alley than mine.
well, at the place I work at, I know
Oh, yeah.
people get super excited at the
At
Deadpool standout we have. We have popcorn bags that have Deadpool on it. People are like, "Oh my god, Deadpool! That's coming out." I watched the trailer. Some of the jokes seem really funny. Some of the violence seems good. Half of the other jokes seem like they could be the most irritating things on the face of the earth.
and that's what I think Ryan Reynolds is gonna.
Ryan Reynolds is a part of that because his delivery of some of that just absolutely sounds so irritating.
I'm not a fan of Ryan Reynolds and all. That's why that's my one thing with Deadpool. But it really looks like a really fun time, I must say.
It's like they really need. I don't know who's directing it, so I don't know who's like the main creative person behind that. But like, if they got someone like I'm blanking on the name here, but the guy who made what's it, Kick-Ass or Kingsman.
Oh my yes! Speaking of another great movie from 2015. Wait
Have you
again!
seen Kingsman?
I did finally watch it. Yes.
Oh my god, that church scene.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
Yes,
god.
the church scene. Oh my god.
That is the director you need. That is the guy
Yes.
who could totally get that tone of funny, but in a very like boundary pushing, very over the top violent way.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Matthew Vaughn, that's his name. That's who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, if they got someone like him to do it, that would be a perfect thing. Especially because I've heard like the comics that Kick-Ass and like Kingsman are based on are kind of in that vein too.
Just like over the top, just kind of. What did you think? Like over the top violence.
Oh,
for
yeah,
no reason
like-
other than being violent. Like
Well,
that's like the
that,
plot
like-
to Kingsman. Like you just make the people violent for no reason.
He has like a certain like. He seems to take a certain pleasure,
But,
like
yes.
a gleefulness in how
Egomaniacal
over the top.
Samuel L. Jackson. Oh,
It's
fantastic Samuel L.
He's
Jackson
aware
performance.
that like when you have a scene with Colin
Fair.
Firth massacring a bunch of churchgoers, he's aware of how like taboo or something like that is. He
We're talking
understands.
about King George VI here, people. Like we're talking about the
We're
guy
talking about the King's Speech guy.
who won an Oscar for playing King George VI, Elizabeth II's father, and now we're talking about him beating up a bunch of people and killing them in a church.
Brutally in a single take
The
while
same actor-
Freebird is playing.
The same actor.
It's like he knows how like just how that's going to push a lot of people's buttons.
yeah.
Like I'm picturing a lot of old white people watching that going, "Oh my!" And
Didn't we just see him like 4 or 5 years ago in such a graceful, elegant role? He had to overcome such adversity.
it's like he knows that this is like going to step on a lot of people's toes, and he could not be more pleased with it. It's the same thing with Kick-Ass when you have the 12-year-old like brutally murdering people. It's again while like you have a punk rock version of the Bananas theme song playing. It's like he's just taking so much pleasure in how wrong that his movies are being.
So to bring it back to Deadpool, if Deadpool is like half as good as Kick-Ass or Kingsman, I think I'd be pretty satisfied. I mean,
Yeah, it's just I feel like that's a hard line to walk where you manage to be that like over the top without it being like super irritating.
or like
obnoxious at the same-
gratuitous maybe too. Like if it's just going to be violent for the sake of being violent. I mean, we'll leave that to Quentin Tarantino because he does it masterfully. in my opinion.
Still looking forward to. So
Yep.
I have to see Hateful Eight in
Oh
70
yes,
millimeter.
yeah, absolutely for the film geeks like us. So, actually, I had a question, and it was brought up with Tom, who I hope will join this soon to be titled podcast, especially and with James, but it doesn't want to be a part of it right now. What do you think is going to make more money, the Batman v Superman or the Captain America Civil War? I was on the fence, and I asked which one came out first, and Batman v Superman does come out first, but it's probably going to be Captain America, but it's like, I think that, we all know how much money the Nolan Batman movies make, and now you're putting Ben Affleck into that role, a really well-known, respected, reputable...
I'm still listening to you. I'm just getting drained.
Of course. Reputable actor, and you're putting a bunch of other characters that people love in the DC cinematic universe, and Jesse Eisenberg, I got to see it for myself with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, but yes. But I can't I don't know which one's going to make more money. I mean, it's probably going to be Captain America, but what do you think?
Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, box office questions like that, it's like...
I don't know. It just got me interested. I mean,
it's a fun thing to discuss, but I'm not a person who hugely cares about how much money a movie makes. Having said that, I think Captain America absolutely is going to make more money than Batman v Superman, because the thing I think a lot of these movies that would start franchises, universes, which is something that everyone wants to start.
Yeah.
The thing a lot of them get wrong is that they start with a recognizable property, but they don't have characters or things that get you invested in them. That you need that carrot to drag the donkey of an audience into sequels.
So Batman Begins, you got to tell the origin story again to get people interested in Batman again, something like that,
with Batman Begins, that was more like that was a totally unique tone at that point in time.
Oh, definitely, for sure, yeah.
But the thing that Marvel does so well, I think, that a lot of people have missed, is that they get people to care about their characters. Like, there are people who care a lot about, Iron Man, Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
They proved that you could even care about a talking tree and a raccoon.
God, folks, Guardians of the Galaxy, amazing.
It's
amazing.
It's the best Marvel movie.
It's fantastic, and I watched it a second time not too long ago, too, and... It is absolutely hysterical.
Oh my
Loved
God.
it.
It's that's a movie that works because the characters in it are so you immediately are attached to them.
Yeah.
So again, that gets you invested. You want to see more movies with that. A lot of the studios that are making these would-be franchise, would-be universe movies is they're expecting you just to care about the fact that it's this property. It's the problem with the recent Spider-Man movies. Their universe has sputtered out. The Fantastic Four. It's even I think the Man of Steel movie, even though it made a lot of money, it wasn't up to their expectations. It's if we don't care about the characters in Batman versus Superman, it's not going to be the franchise kicker that they want. I mean, I will say it does have those properties that are huge draws to audience, specifically Batman, but it's just, I doubt that'll be enough. Whereas, with Captain
Iron Man
America,
and Captain America, and now Wonder Woman.
People are hugely invested in the saga.
No, Wonder
that
Woman's
Marvel's,
DC. I'm sorry.
But people. Well, that's the thing. People are hugely invested in the characters in
Captain America.
In the Marvel universe. It's why.
And you are bringing Spider-Man back for, like you said, which is arguably maybe the most heavily invested one.
Again, that's going to be a moment that just gets people
it's gonna
going
fanboy
wild
crazy
when that movie hits. Oh my God, I can't imagine. But that's the thing. It's because we're invested in characters like Captain America and stuff. We're when you have a situation like Iron Man and Captain America standing off, that has some weight to it. It's why a scene in Age of Ultron where you can just have a bunch of the Marvel characters
Yeah.
hanging out and
Yeah,
partying,
parties, yeah.
and it works so well.
Yep.
That was like my favorite part of the Age of Ultron.
Ultron, yeah.
I would totally see a Richard Linklater movie
Oh
about
my god! If Richard Linklater if Richard Linklater just directed a movie with the Marvel Cinematic
that would
Heroes
be
talking,
incredible.
because Richard Linklater might be the king of just movies with things that don't happen and people just talking to each other.
the movie, he's the king of stories about people talking and nothing actually happening.
And you know what? I love it because Dazed and Confused might be one of my favorite all-time movies because I've seen that movie so many times and I love it so much. Different topic for another day. But yes, I see your point for sure.
Yeah, so that's why I think Captain America is totally going to be a much bigger draw than the Batman v Superman.
And I mean, and again to clarify too, it's like I will definitely say that I don't with box office numbers. Yeah, I mean it's definitely something that it doesn't really bother me as much either. I mean I like to see certain movies do really well, like The Witch, for example. We can talk about that in a second. But so with box office, what I like about it is the fact that even though I'm not the biggest comic book person. I really don't read the comic books, and I like the movies to an extent, but not to the point of people that maybe read the comic books or, like you said, that are heavily invested in the characters. I watch it more for the movie-going experience to see how the actors do in the roles and how it's written and you know how I would view any other kind of movie, but it's a superhero movie. But it's the fact that people are still going to the movies and there's still fandom for movies is what I really appreciate about it. Yeah. And that people aren't just waiting for it to go onto Netflix to stream it, or it's the fact that they're getting excited to go and see a movie at the theater, and I can really appreciate that.
Just the amount of Tumblr gifts for the Marvel universe should be an indicator of how how Marvel has like a hold on like the cultural zeitgeist.
And guess what? Disney. More Disney.
Also owned by Disney.
Also owned by Disney.
Maybe in the next 20 years, our corporate totalitarian dictators who may just buy the government.
Yep, our totalitarian leaders in Disney, because they now own Lucasfilms, and so actually
they're going to own everything soon.
So every new Marvel movie and every new Star Wars movie, so pretty much they are going to rule the box office forever and ever and ever, because we're getting a new Star Wars movie for the foreseeable future every year.
I remember seeing an article. We are not going to live to see the end of the Star Wars saga as Disney.
We are not going to live, and Disney is going to dominate the box office every single year, and especially when they'll put out a Pixar movie about every year, maybe every couple years, and they're going to get because they own Pixar too. It's not too far of a stretch to say that they are the big global giant. They really are. They own ESPN too for all the sports fans out there. They have such a grip on everything now, and they own everything.
It's like you totally have a point there, but I want to talk more about The Witch a little bit.
Yes, let's talk about The Witch.
It's like I've been hearing nothing but great things. It's from a first-time director, from what I've heard, who, from what I heard, looked at a lot of historically, like, of the era. It's because it's about, like, a family in the 1700s, New England, and...
Which is where we live, by the way, folks, for the new listeners that might want to listen to us babble.
Which, why are there not more horror movies set in New England? It's like... Yeah. That kind of like fall atmosphere, that's such a uniquely New England thing that I am shocked we don't see more of that.
And disclaimer for the listeners out there, we on this podcast are huge horror fanatics. Myself, it might arguably be my favorite genre of film, and I love it so much, and I talk about it all the time. So The Witch might not be something that's getting a mass kind of appeal or whatever, but when was the last time I was this excited for a horror movie?
I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me, dude.
I don't know. I mean,
maybe maybe I wasn't this excited for a horror movie since I saw like It Follows
or
something.
And again, it keeps with the theme too, because when we started this topic about a first time director, well, David Robert Mitchell, who did It Follows, I think he might have had a couple.
He had one before that.
He
I
had
think
one
The
film
Myth
before
of the American Sleepover, which was a totally different kind of movie.
But was it like, did it get the same kind of, like, obviously it didn't get the same kind of reception or the same kind of
it
release.
got pretty good reviews as far as I know, but it wasn't like
It didn't get a wide release
it
like
didn't
It Follows.
it didn't put him on the radar, like It Follows has.
So I guess he's not a first-time director, but he's pretty damn close
This
to
is
it.
kind of his breakthrough.
And Jennifer
movie.
Kent, who directed The Babadook, another fantastic horror movie, she was definitely a first-time director with The Babadook.
No, yeah.
So I definitely don't have a problem with the fact that this movie by, do you say Eggers? Is that who the director is?
Robert Eggers.
Robert
I think it's
Eggers.
his name.
That does not bother me at all that it's a first-time director that's going to direct this movie. So,
No, from what I've heard, it's like it really captures this kind of like almost satanic tone or something. Like even watching the trailer, it has like this chorus that reminds me of music from like 2001 as they're looking at the woods, capturing that fear of nature, fear of the unknown. Oh my god! And just like there's a montage in the trailer where it's just all these scenes as this kid is like frantically reciting a prayer. It's like it really kind of gave me the chills watching that trailer.
And I can pretty much safely say to the listeners out there that this is not, if you're thinking that this is going to be like The Village, because we pretty much described it as a quote okay, that movie, if you whatever you want to call it, but it's not, just because it's taking place in a small town in a village does not mean it's going to be like that movie.
It is a fantastic comedy.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's not, for people that might not have seen the trailer or don't know much about what we're talking about, but you might have seen The Village, it does not look like it's going to be that. It looks like it's going to be 100 times better than that. It's going to be it looks like it's going to be a straight up mystery suspense horror movie.
Oh yeah, it looks like an art horror type of movie, so I'm probably going to love this movie.
I hope I'm not hyping it up too much. That's my fear too. But like in the scene in the trailer when she's playing peekaboo with the baby, and then
that's great.
And then the baby just disappears after like she does it for the third time, and I'm just like, wow.
Well, that's a great twist. Well, that's a great twist on like the formula. If you're expecting it to like for her to look at the baby and suddenly see like a demonic face or something.
Yeah.
But instead the baby's just
gone. It's gone. And it's like,
and what's more, she looks like out in the woods and you can see like one bush, then a bush farther away shake. It's like something grabbed the baby and ran away with supernatural speed or something.
And the trailer's not doing the typical horror movie tropes where it's like it's doing, quick jump scare cuts, and it's, I've seen so many horror movies that I get to the point where I know the kind of movie it's going to be by the trailer, and I'm really not getting any of that sense of it. If you want to compare it to that suckbag horror movie that's going to come out in January called The Forest, where
we haven't seen it yet. We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure, but for people that don't know, January is usually the dumping month for movies. After the awards, after the award movies go through, January is the dumping
good old
month
of fuck you. It's January.
It's fuck you. It's January. It's it's even more so. It doubles down on horror movies, because if you're getting a horror movie that's coming out in January, like, I remember when I saw Texas Chainsaw 3D that came out in January. What a train wreck! And for a fan, and you're listening to one of the biggest fans of the original film that you'll probably ever. I am obsessed with the original film. Like, that movie sums up everything you need to know about a January horror movie. So, just watch that trailer, then watch the trailer for The Witch, and you'll just see that you're going to be in for a different kind of horror movie.
Yeah, The Witch sells that tone. It sells a tone remarkably well without like giving away any of the plot or anything.
You know what I?
Whereas, and we cannot bring up Texas Chainsaw 3D without me quoting the immortal line, "Do your thing, cuz."
Yep. Yeah, it's literally the only thing that's ever stuck with me through that movie was that line, and it was like, it's the cheesiest one-liner ever, but I guess...
On the other hand, that movie was my first introduction to Alexandra Daddario, so...
It has a little bit of nostalgia for Ian over here.
No movie that has Alexandra Daddario can be 100% terrible.
Yeah.
Especially because, who knows, maybe that movie led to her role in True Detective.
Fair enough. She's naked
Uh,
a lot in True Detective.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So another movie I'm really looking forward to
What's
in
it?
2016 is The Nice Guys by
Yes.
Shane Black.
Yep.
Just first of all, if you haven't seen Kiss Kiss
Yes.
Bang Bang,
I have
one of
not
his-
seen that yet. I got to see it.
Oh, dude, I gotta show you that
Yeah.
movie. I have it. It's so funny, and it's such a great sort of noir mystery comedy
Yep.
thing, and it looks like he's doing that again brilliantly.
Brilliantly.
I can't tell you how hard that trailer made me laugh.
The
Like,
trailer was fantastic.
compared to like any other trailer, like especially with Ryan Gosling, and
Yeah.
he looks like he's doing a totally unique kind of role in that.
Fantastic.
So-
Like I never thought I would say that Ryan Gosling's a fantastic actor, but I think he's really come into it. I think he's really come into that, into that category of being a pretty damn good actor.
Yeah, and I think the movie's using him in a really
Yeah, good way.
interesting,
Yeah.
different way than how he's usually used in movies. Also, it kind of reminds me a bit of what I thought. Inherent Vice would be like, but it'll probably be a bit
Wow,
less.
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, that's still a movie I need to rewatch.
Wow,
at some point,
that
'cause
movie had so many angles when I saw it in the theater. I was not ready for that kind of experience. I must
like-
say.
we were not ready for Paul Thomas Anderson
No, I
in
was
that movie.
not ready for that. For what?
It's like I wasn't
what Joaquin
expecting that
Phoenix
to be
gave it
such a psychedelic,
mass.
just break with plot, whereas like the other guys just looks like it's going to be straight up hysterical. And
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, if The Nice Guys is gonna be like Inherent Vice, I might skip it in the theaters because I'm gonna have to watch it when I can actually sit.
well, no, I think it'll be a more accessible
Okay, yeah.
version of Inherent Vice, is what I mean. I mean, like whereas Inherent Vice gets like incredibly confusing and
yes.
like dark and stuff like that. I think The Nice Guys looks like it'll get dark in a very funny way, but also like not overly
Yeah.
confusing, hazy sort of way. So yeah.
Another one is from the dynamic brother directing team of the Coen brothers, Hail Caesar, with an
Oh.
exclamation point coming out. I am very excited for this movie because I am a big fan of the Coen brothers' work. I mean, we sit here and quote The Big Lebowski all the time. I mean, but
We literally had a car trip
Chase.
where we just did nothing but quote
quote
the
this
Big
Big Lebowski. But I mean, on top of the cult sensation that is said film, he's done. That team has done like Fargo is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is probably in my top 5 movies of all time. It is. I cannot say enough about Fargo. It is. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm like speechless for it right now because there's so many things I could talk about
yeah,
Fargo right now.
I'm totally an enormous fan of the Coen
Yeah.
brothers. No Country for Old Men,
Yes,
which is like
and
one of the most terrifying movies
With one of the most
ever.
terrifying villains
Oh
ever.
my god! It's like
Anton.
I rewatched that movie recently because I had to write a paper on it.
Jeez,
and
that sounds
stuff.
like such a terrible time.
You have no idea how hard my life is sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's like even still that scene where it's like cat and mouse between Javier Bardem and Josh Brolin's character. I was still like on the edge of my seat, and I've seen that movie a ton of times.
Yep.
It's like
The coin flip scene, like the scene with with the poor store clerk. It's just like you after you've already seen, you know what's going to happen on the second viewing, but you're still sitting there like, oh my god, he's going to kill. Like he's done for. This guy's done for.
Javier Bardem is like a weird alien person in that movie, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like what's it?
Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar is going to be more like
Like his throwback to like Raising Arizona or something.
Raising
like that.
Arizona, or like Oh Brother, Where
Where
Art
Art
Thou?
Thou?
Like
Yeah.
more of more of one of their farcical types
Yes,
of movies,
exactly.
as opposed to No Country for Old Men or True Grit, which are very serious movies, I think.
Mm-hmm. But
because I saw I don't know if you've seen it yet, Inside Llewyn Davis.
I've not seen that one yet.
Yeah, that's a movie that has some very funny moments, but it's a very dark movie. And by the end of it, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but like, it's been like a year or two since I've seen it, it's a movie I still think about sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really lodged itself in
Yeah.
my head. Not to mention the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
But
Coen Brothers
yeah,
do good with music.
I have. It's like that's a movie I wasn't sure about, but I have a ton of respect for, like, just in how it's lodged
Yep.
itself in me. So
I mean, I think just in general, when it comes to, you know, with what films become today, where you can just go and see a movie, and whether it's a popcorn movie, it's a turn your brain off and just watch the screen kind of movie. It's like you typically forget what you just watched maybe an hour after you see it, so you don't really. If a movie, even in the slightest, sticks with you for any amount of time, I think it did. Okay, even if it did something really bad, it's like you know that it was at least.
if it's memorable,
It's memorable.
something.
Because most movies are just so forgettable.
No,
and it's
yeah,
just-
I like movies that I'm a huge fan of movies that they're not technically perfect movies, but movies that are super ambitious. They like Icarus. They sail towards the sun and fall on their
yeah,
ass
yes.
miserably. It's like I'm a huge fan of that kind of movie.
But I'm very excited for Hail Caesar though, because I love the cast that's in it. You know, I think you got regular Coen Brothers regulars like Josh Brolin. I think is in it, and
Josh Brolin's gonna have Tilda Swinton.
your girl
It's
Tilda
gonna-
Swinton's in it.
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Yep.
Scarlett Johansson. What's it? Even Jonah Hill is in
Yeah,
it.
Jonah Hill
so-
is in it, and I think it's actually flying a little bit under the radar. I mean, I've seen the trailer spot a couple times before a movie or something. I haven't seen any TV spots for it. I don't think, but I
No,
think
I've seen the trailer online. I've got it once in the theater.
Yeah, I got it once in the theater, I think, but it's definitely flying under the radar. It's it's a shame because there's a lot of big names in it, and the Coen Brothers definitely, they're by far a household name at this point. It's like.
I don't know if them as a pair of directors are a huge household name, but I think some of their works are. Like,
Well, I mean, but if you
a lot of the people our age you talk to, I think a lot of them are big fans of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" without knowing who made
Well,
it.
yeah,
Or
I mean, I
anything,
think
or, because of the TV show Fargo,
Yeah,
that's obviously lived on, stuff like that.
I think all you have to do from that angle is you just have to market Hail Caesar as by the directors of Fargo,
Yeah.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and The Big Lebowski. Then you have your advertising right there, because those are three movies right there that I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou in a freshman English class because it was a parallel to the Odyssey.
I think just about everyone who went to our high school did that. It's
So
like-
I mean, that was the first time I ever watched that movie, and that was like 7 years ago, 8
I
years
think it's
ago.
still a damn good movie.
It's still a pretty good movie. It's probably not my favorite in their filmography, but it's good. It's
Hey,
in
I
my
think-
collection.
I think even a lesser Coen Brothers movie
Movie
is
is
still a
still-
lot better than
Yeah.
just most people's movies as a.
So I'm
their
definitely
game.
I'm definitely looking forward to that though, for sure. I think that's coming out relatively soon too, like February or March.
February, I think, yeah. Okay, we've been going for almost an hour, so
So do you want to do one more? We'll hit one more.
yeah, should maybe hit one more and maybe wrap it up. a
Okay,
bit.
that's fine.
I don't know what else is coming out. There's one this one. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a movie called Green Room that's supposed to be getting a
No, tell me about it.
distribution. It's by a guy who directed this movie called Blue Ruin, which is on Netflix. It's a first time.
See, I don't have Netflix, so I'm weird out there, listeners. I do not have Netflix. I collect physical media. I'm sorry, people.
But here's the thing, Blue Ruin, like, it's a first time director's movie. It's so good. Like, even just in terms of how it's shot, it looks better than like some big Hollywood movies do. And that and the plot is like it's about a guy who goes out to get revenge, which, yeah, you've heard that story 1,000 times. But it's about a guy who should not, who is not the kind of person you would
Yeah.
think going out to get revenge. So everything just goes wrong, and it's a really tense, really good movie. And so he's got a new movie called Green Room that I think is coming out in April. And from what I've heard, it's about a punk rock band that play at a skinhead bar or something.
Oh,
and
alright.
they end up witnessing a murder, and then it becomes like Assault on Precinct 13, basically.
Okay, you can't get me started on John Carpenter right now. You know what that's going to do. So I'm just going to pretend that you didn't say Assault on Precinct 13 because I'd go on the most epic tangent about John
But
Carpenter.
it's that kind of plot where it's like they're stuck in this location. They've got neo-Nazis who want them dead, basically.
and this is that new movie that's coming out.
Yeah, and from what
Oh
I've
my
heard,
God.
it's incredibly violent, incredibly tense,
All right.
and
I can
so
get all right.
I'm really looking for. And it's got Patrick Stewart as like the head of the neo-Nazis, so I'm really looking forward to that.
because he's bald. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so and I'll just because you might have to fill me in on it more, but there was definitely because I saw a trailer for it when I think when I saw Star Wars the second time. I don't think we saw it in the first go around. Was the trailer for that Harry Potter spin-off kind of thing?
Oh yeah, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Okay, so explain to me what exactly. It's set in the same universe, right? But it's not going to have any of the
Yeah.
same characters.
It's based on like a spin-off book that J.K. Rowling wrote. It's like because I think in like the first or second Harry Potter book, like they just offhandedly mentioned that one of the books he needs for one of his classes is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So as sort of like a spin-off thing, J.K. Rowling actually wrote that book. It's a small paperback book, and there were.
No, I've definitely seen the
adapting
book
it.
before, but I didn't know much about it until I saw, like, I didn't read it or anything.
From what I've
so-
heard, the book is going to be like the plot of the fictional author of that book, Newt Scamander, I think is his
Okay.
name, played by the Danish girl Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne.
And
Or Stephen Hawking, if you've seen
or
that.
Stephen Hawking, and basically it's about like he goes to America with a trunk that magically contains a bunch of these fantastic beasts, and shenanigans ensue that have the beasts run loose in America, and so he has to find them, recapture them, and stuff.
Okay.
It's
All right,
like
so-
I'm kind of not a huge fan of that plot idea because when I heard of the vague premise of it, I kind of was picturing in my head that it would maybe be him going into like jungles or like maybe like forests in Eastern Europe or something, about like going to these like out of the way unknown locations, locating these incredible beasts or something like that. Like this is going to be a weird comparison, but like an Apocalypse Now or something. Like
Alright.
just the idea of like trekking into this unknown alien like hostile location, this jungle kind of thing.
Well, let me ask
But-
you. Is Marlon Brando head of it?
Probably.
Is he kind of insane on the hinge, has to be taken down?
Well, Marlon Brando's insane. You got that part
Part-
right, but
And he's dead, too, so he's probably
also
not in
dead.
this film.
probably not.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I mean. That kind of tone, but it just looks like we let the animals out of the zoo. Gotta get them back. So, I'm not a huge fan of that kind of plot, but who knows? It's being written by
By
J.K. Rowling, so
She's writing the screenplay for it, too?
she did the screenplay for it
Okay.
as well. So
All right. Well, I mean, because Harry Potter, I mean, when we're talking about fandoms, that's definitely a fandom. I know it's set in the same universe, so I thought that would be a good one to bring up to finish this.
I thought those books were very very kind of obscure, like had an underground
What?
following, you know.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up here for this very raw, very introductory foray into this recording of our.
Very tangent-driven episode.
Well, I'll find a place to post this.
Sounds good.
All right.